Well, it's not regulation, it's just an invitation. Come listen to our silly little show. Join Dennis, KP, David, and Misty as they banter and they argue to and fro. It's a nothing little show, but that's in the title now you know. We're coming to the chorus, time to go. It's deep lore about nothing, deep lore about nothing. Now with new intro.
And talk about a hot intro there.
Yeah. I had the most random fucking thought today, or earlier this week. But welcome to another episode of Deep Lore About Nothing with me, David, and my friends Dennis and KP.
Howdy.
And hopefully our producer Misty will join us eventually. She had some things to do today. But I had a strange thought this week, you guys.
Stranger than normal?
Yes.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yes, absolutely stranger than normal. Because I had a thought. What method do India-based wizards from the world of Harry Potter use to fly? Do they use brooms? Or do they use flying carpets?
What?
Now, here's the thing. Are you confusing the flying carpet as being from the Far East, as in India? Or the flying carpet as being from the Middle East region, like Iraq, Saudi Arabia, that kind of what we would think of as classical Aladdin-esque Agrabah land.
Right, well, because I would think that a wizarding school for that portion of the world, because it explains in the game Hogwarts Legacy that there's a wizarding school in Africa called Wagadu, where they use wandless magic, preferably. Like, they're not taught to use wands regularly. That's not a normal thing for them. So, that being known, and we obviously know from the Harry Potter books and movies that there are other wizarding schools around the world, like especially even one in America. So that dictates that there has to be another one, at least for the eastern half of that continent. Like the more eastern half of that continent, right?
Sure, or maybe they just don't believe in magic.
I would imagine that India would be the home of that wizarding school, being one of the larger countries on that side of the world. So when they're taught how to fly, how do they do it?
Don't they say up?
Do you think that they do it with brooms like everybody else? Do you think they do it with brooms like the other wizarding schools, and like they're taught to play Quidditch?
Well,
or do they use carpets?
I really strongly believe that the flying carpet was a Middle Eastern folklore kind of thing, like 1001 Arabian Nights.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Imagine it'd be brooms across the board.
Or by that logic, because when you think of, I guess, Indian folklore, which I'm not really familiar with, and boy, you threw me for a loop here, David.
Yeah.
I told you it was fucking weird, man.
I would assume that they would fly around. Maybe that's where Dumbo came from. Flying elephant?
Oh, wow.
Ooh, maybe.
Okay. You took it a step further. I appreciate that, Dennis.
I'm trying to be culturally sensitive here.
We've heard nothing from KP this whole time.
I don't know what to say.
I think I scared them with
my follow-up question.
With my proposal.
What strain have you been smoking and how does one obtain it? Like, I don't know how to add to this conversation.
It could be worse. You could have added that they would be flying around in flying call centers.
Yikes, that's just messed up.
You know what's messed up? Andrew never ate that fucking pencil.
Like, I'm taking that thought based on technology that would have been available during the timeline that we know the Harry Potter movies follow. Like, where they take place, so to speak, in history.
You could also assume that because there was a lot of English colonization of the region, and they were very much under the thumb of the British Empire, that they would have similar magic imposed on them by all the Hogwarts conquistadors and colonizers and such.
Okay, yeah, actually, that kind of makes sense, especially for the time. That makes a lot of sense. I've just been playing Hogwarts Legacy lately,
and here I am breaking my one rule, though, of don't apply logic to bullshit.
Always apply logic to bullshit. It makes it more fun.
Yeah. Just how far
You
can you go?
gotta point out, though, it feels very strange to listen to these old episodes and then, each week listening to a new current episode of Regulation. And when we're listening to these older episodes, not hearing them talk about what's currently going on with, like, the new office they had gotten, or, like, post Rooster Teeth shutdown.
And yes, we are...
It's strange for me listening to Fuckface pre-Rooster Teeth shutdown.
Yeah, we are talking about going back, and this episode of Deep Lore About Nothing, we're probably going to be able to review episodes 17 and 18 of the original Fuckface podcast, otherwise known as episode 16 and episode 16, because that became a running bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, episode 16 is forever. I even have that in my notes, I think, for 18. Or maybe it was 19. I can't remember.
And, of course, we left off our last episode talking about a pencil bet. And now we have a court case in episode 17, because that's how it began.
That whole episode.
Finally.
That was a rough definition.
They actually get to do the court case. I have a bone to pick with Andrew Panton, see, because Andrew came in at the beginning of this episode, and he had the pencil trial all by his lonesome. Well,
he showed
all
up
by his lonesome with Nick.
He showed up.
And
he showed up at the originally scheduled time. Carry on, continue.
He once again says that there is no proof that he said he would eat the pencil. When there is audible proof, they have an audio clip of Andrew specifically saying that he would eat the pencil if he lost the bet. And he starts to claim that Geoff has been blinded by Garfield jealousy because Andrew holds top times in Garfield kart racing.
Which has not been proven false.
Which necessarily hasn't been proven false, but I wouldn't say that it also has been proven true, because if you think about it, the only time that Geoff has actually played the Garfield kart game at this point in the podcast was by Andrew creating a fake Geoff account and beating his own time as fake Geoff.
Objection that Geoff did admit that he had played Garfield kart, that he had failed to register a top world record
that's
time.
Right. That's right.
Due to being unable to unlock the stupid fucking pizza cup, in his own words.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
He did.
Now I remember. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you.
Or whatever.
But either way, I think at that point, Geoff's just picked a game, not at the... And he's not jealous of the fact that Andrew holds top times. He would just be pissed off at the game, because I can tell you I've been there, done that. There's a game that I pick up at least once a year, and I continue to abuse myself because I die in the same spot 14 times. But each year that I pick it back up, I make it a little bit further in the game. So I keep just torturing myself with this game every single year. So I understand where Geoff is coming from with anger towards a game that he just has a skill issue with.
Objection, Your Honor. I'd like to note that the literal act of torture has been known and proven to induce temporary psychoses. Carry on.
What?
And then Andrew edits together a sound clip of Geoff and Gavin both claiming to be liars, even more so proving that he himself is a dishonorable man, because it is a trashy audio edit. And I understand later that it was a bit. But like in the moment, I don't think I remember, and this was the reason I took the note of it's weird listening to these old fuckface episodes, like pre-shutdown, because I don't remember listening to this episode, and if I do, obviously I did listen to it, but I think at the time I also got angry at what Andrew Panton was saying and all the quote-unquote lies he was telling for the bit. Because, like, he really got me. He really fucking got me. And he got most of the audience, too. They talk about that later, about how everybody was so angry with Andrew after what he did at the beginning of episode 17.
Objection, only a Sith speaks in absolutes. You are saying everybody was angry with Andrew Panton. I was not.
Almost everybody. I meant I was more talking more so at the time. Like he kept getting a bunch of tweets or like replies for tweets that were just people upset with him. He even attempts to use Millie as a character witness.
Oh yeah.
And gives
he
her
didn't
a
just
whole
attempt.
script to
He
read out.
Successfully. Can it be proven that was a script? Again, objection.
I think Millie had mentioned to Geoff that it was a script, and it gets brought up in the next episode when they're talking about the bit.
So it was so funny how quick he was.
Because I know Geoff brings it up
her.
after, or is it in this episode? Maybe it's in this episode.
Geoff brought it up in episode 18.
Oh yeah. You're right.
I would, if you don't mind, I would like to present closing arguments here.
Go for it.
See, allow me to address our listening jury here. I'm not just going to say ladies and gentlemen, I will say the he's, the she's, the gays, and the theys, because perhaps we do have a wide, diverse audience who will be the true definitive jury on whether Andrew should eat the fucking pencil or not. Is it not true that if one does attend a civil trial, which this is a civil matter to be settled between two parties, and if one party is unable to attend for whatever reason without giving proper notice to the court and does not present evidence at all, and the other side does present not only character witnesses, but some kind of a testimonial as to the state of the other side's character, the judgment should summarily be for the party in favor that did decide to attend. Mic drop.
Objection.
The judge couldn't even show up to the case.
No one else showed
because
up.
Eric was unable to make it to their recording, and because
Andrew wasn't in the Slack group.
And then Geoff also was not able to make it to
Objection,
that
collusion, Your Honor.
And it's because he had to go and get a frickin' root canal.
Yeah.
And Andrew claims that it is mysterious. It's suspicious because it happened, all of a sudden when they were about to do their court case recording. And says that it was
Your Honor,
90
I'd
minutes
like to
before
request
the recording.
I was going to say I would like to request a recess from the trial so that we can move on to other aspects of the
oh my god
the episode of the podcast. I hope you don't mind my bit
Andrew
here.
It's a real Andrew Panton move there, Dennis.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're gonna backpedal into last week's episode.
Oh, we're gonna have fun with this.
How do you not go?
I think we've lost KP. KP
Hello?
falling to the void.
No, I still hear KP.
I have not heard KP this whole time.
Am I still here?
I need to leave and come
You're
back.
still here.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I swear, just
KP
because.
Uh-oh.
Just. Oh no.
I think I might need to leave and come back.
Well, speaking of winning on a technicality technically speaking, if you disconnect and come back, you'll still be fine, and we've got you.
Okay, cool.
It should work.
I'll be right back.
See, back.
All right. Hey, now I can hear KP. I really didn't hear KP that whole time. I thought me and Dennis were just arguing with each other.
That's wild.
Well, that's because we were, and it was funny.
Yeah. Well, I didn't hear a single fucking thing from KP.
Until the objection?
I'm like trying to talk and no one's listening to me.
I'm listening. I'm disagreeing respectfully.
Dennis was listening. I couldn't hear a fucking word.
How do you go about work without being in the proper channels to talk to your coworkers? He wasn't in the right Slack chat.
He was
in
in 2 different Slacks.
Oh,
I'm claiming that there is collusion in an attempt to keep the proper Andrew Panton out of the Slack channels.
Get your fancy Canadian words out of here. I don't know what that means.
Get your fancy Canadian words out of here.
I can't even pretend to be angry at that because that was too funny.
God damn it, KP.
Thank
you. Oh man.
But anyways, Geoff had a root canal.
He did.
Yeah, he had to get a root canal, and Andrew claims that he had sent the message 90 minutes before the recording, which he did not. He sent it at least 2.5 hours before the recording because Geoff even goes and looks at the timestamps, and he had sent it at like 12:30 that he wasn't going to be able to make it to the recording.
That doesn't work with my narrative here.
Right. I know it doesn't. Because Andrew lost, Dennis, and you can just accept it.
Come to the dark side. He needs to eat that pencil.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
We do.
I'll stick with butter tarts. Thank you very much.
Fuck are butter tarts?
What?
You've
what
never
the
had
fuck are butter tarts?
Oh. That's it. See, now I take this personally. You've never had butter tarts?
Wait, I'm looking this up.
Googling butter tarts.
Oh, man.
Okay, not gonna lie, this does sound good. Overview says, it's a classic Canadian pastry with a flaky crust and a rich, sweet, gooey filling made from butter, brown sugar, eggs, and syrup, often with raisins or pecans added. That sounds fire.
Well, I can only eat the raisin one because I'm allergic to pecans.
Damn.
Those are butter tarts. Dropping pictures of them in the chat.
I was waiting for a fucking picture in the chat. I wasn't gonna shit on myself.
Okay, think of, if I had to describe a butter tart, think of a Portuguese tart, those creamy, gooey ones.
Yeah. Looks like a quiche, honestly.
Okay, but imagine instead of the goo, it was essentially like the filling of a pecan pie without the pecan.
Kind of looks like caramelized brown sugar, honestly.
Yes,
like
very much so. And a lot of butter.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now I can picture what that tastes like.
You can picture what that tastes like?
It is so
good. That was 2 different senses, and that was wonderful.
I can taste what that picture's like.
I can picture what it tastes like.
I can taste like
your screen.
I can taste what that picture's like. Fucking Dennis.
I can picture what it tastes like. Like I said, I'm licking my computer screen.
I'm licking my oh no, KP. But like,
ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else of the jury, do you trust someone who licks their computer screen to provide arguments to the court?
Excuse me.
Hey, I'm not licking my computer screen. KP can lick their computer screen all they want.
Who you choose as your co-counsel is your business, David.
Geoff's tooth situation is not mysterious and can't be suspicious by any means, though, because it's
a known issue.
It has been a known issue in the fuckface lore by this point that Geoff has fucking mouth problems. Hell, he had 2 women with large hands in his mouth just 3 episodes ago.
Wasn't he saying that every appointment was like kind of on rotation weekly as the whole thing was going on?
Yeah, he said something like that.
Like the mouth surgeon or whatever only worked on the days that they recorded the podcast.
Yeah, he worked on Thursdays. The
Yeah,
one
the
that he needed to go
endodontist.
to.
Apparently, in all of Austin, Texas, there is only one recommended endodontist.
Apparently. That's wild.
Yeah.
And Andrew points out that Eric was not the judge. When it was said for multiple episodes in a row that Eric would be the judge of the trial. And we didn't find out until after the fact, like after they had like come to start this particular episode, that Eric had decided he was not going to be the judge anymore and he was going to outsource.
Yeah. You can't give the judge the whole money in the bank or blind box treatment.
That's true. But I think the way that Eric went about it was a lot better and a lot fucking funnier.
But if they threw the judge in blind, that gives less bias towards the verdict.
No, it absolutely does. And Geoff says when they all come onto the podcast that he fuckfaced himself because of the whole root canal situation.
Mm.
Because he went to that endodontist, and then the endodontist doesn't put the crowns on. He just does the root canal. And so he had to go from his regular dentist to the endodontist, then back to his regular dentist so that he could get caps put on his teeth.
Yeah, this one tooth took a lot of visits from different dentists and probably cost him an unfortunate amount of money.
I wonder how good the insurance through Rooster Teeth was back in the day.
I'm willing to bet that it's better than the insurance that they do have now, but at least they do have some.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know they have health insurance because of the regulation company now. But also, I would imagine that their health insurance with Rooster Teeth would have been funded by Warner Brothers, maybe?
Oh, yeah, at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, of course. I could be wrong. They might have all had to fork out their own money for their health insurance. But as far as I remember, they would get health insurance through Warner Brothers.
Yeah, who probably has a deal with whatever
big conglomerate.
Corporately approved conglomerate, yeah.
Absolutely. But Andrew doesn't understand why he's the villain when he showed up at a court date that technically didn't even happen because the judge and one of the other, what would you call Geoff and Gavin the prosecution? Because Andrew's the defendant in this case?
Plaintiff,
there we go. Thank you, KP. But they literally made it clear that they weren't going to be able to show up to the recording. At least Geoff and Eric did. I think Gavin was able to make it, but because Geoff and Eric weren't, he didn't go. The only ones who showed up were Nick and Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very clear that it wasn't going to be taking place because Geoff had to go get a surprise root canal.
One of the funniest things about this, though, was the after the fact where the inauthentic audio clips go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Because Geoff does present a ridiculously clearly doctored audio clip of Andrew admitting to eating the pencil.
I have that here too. And Geoff chops together an Andrew clip, just like Andrew did to him and Gavin. And then and then I have sounds like it was edited on a microwave, Gavin free.
Although if you listen back to it, the quality of the clip that Geoff presents is much better than anything that Andrew presented.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
Andrew, the only one that did court properly, Panton.
Hey, if you've got to win, you might as well win on a technicality.
He didn't do it properly because both parties weren't there.
But now
He
you
didn't
can't
win
double
because
jeopardy
nobody
a
but
pencil eating.
It's not double jeopardy if the trial never took place.
Hey, there was no trial that happened. You can't double jeopardy something that didn't happen. 2 times 0 is still 0.
I will
2
concede
times 0
that for
is
now.
still 0. I had a feeling that
Something that
this
annoyed
episode
me
would
about
be
it, though.
mainly me and KP gaining up on Dennis.
I love it. I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything. This is fun. But Geoff was willing to deny paternity of his own daughter.
Yeah, I have your Geoff
Amazon
disown-
to return.
I have here Geoff disowns Millie for being Andrew's character witness.
Yeah, Geoff immediately disowning Millie.
Just immediately throwing that poor innocent child who was doing the right thing by standing up on the side of truth, honor, and justice for her friend, Andrew Panton.
But that's
A
okay.
friend to all.
That's okay because in one of Andrew's audio clips, he says, there's a quote from Geoff, he's like my other daughter. So, lose one, gain one.
Lose one, gain one. You know, I bet that Andrew used to go to school on Sundays and just stand outside until it was time to go home. And then on Mondays, he wouldn't come to school and he would just tell his teachers, well, I came yesterday. What do you want from me?
He was homeschooled. He doesn't have that excuse.
That explains a lot.
He has mentioned being homeschooled. And I will not insult the homeschooling community as a whole. Nothing wrong with being homeschooled.
Oh, there's
Oh,
nothing
no,
wrong.
absolutely not.
No. It just explains why Andrew is the way he is.
It definitely does. Absolutely. 100%.
And then I have a note here that intros are stupid and don't need to exist. I believe that's because Andrew did insert this completely
beginning of
legitimate,
episode 13.
authentic trial to the beginning of this episode.
It was not authentic.
Well, that is up for debate, but that was inserted to the beginning of this episode, and then rather than record a proper intro, Andrew just keeps talking about how they don't need an intro. The intros overall are stupid and don't need to exist, and they already have an intro because the trial was there.
Andrew also accuses Geoff of a theft of his tweet, because I don't remember exactly what the tweet was. I meant to put it down, but I totally forgot. Andrew had tweeted something, and then I guess like a week or so later, Geoff tweeted the same thing.
I don't remember what that was.
I can't remember what it was either. Geoff tells him that he didn't even see the tweet from Andrew. Like, he didn't even see Andrew had tweeted that.
Which shows the level of quality of Geoff's character and his integrity.
That is so BS. I am hardly ever on social media
I am
anymore.
willing to say anything to defend my position and my claim.
That is insane.
Okay, but one of my last notes I have when I was going through the episode, I just said, would Andrew fight this hard if he knew he didn't have to eat the pencil? He is
because it's funny.
Well, yeah, the commitment to the bit is part of it, but still.
The commitment to the bit is honestly what drove me nuts, and
oh my god,
that's disappointing to me.
Well, you're in good company.
But Andrew refuses a new court date because he still claims that he won the case.
Even before that, can we go for a slight change of pace and something funny that happened to me while listening to this episode?
Oh, absolutely.
See, I do pay for the Patreon feed, and even at the time, I paid for the Rooster Teeth First in order to get the ad-free feeds of all the podcasts.
Same.
And yet, If you were to go back and listen to this episode now, I guarantee you will get a dynamic ad insert. And
Yep.
I won. And it was for A&W breakfast, and it stuck with me. It stood out. I need to share this with you guys. And it was the funniest little jingle, and for some reason I wrote down all the lyrics to this jingle, and can I just share my dynamic ad with you?
Oh,
Absolutely.
please.
And let's see if this makes you hungry. You've got to try breakfast at A&W. We got to try breakfast at A&W. Enjoy A&W's bacon and egg and coffee for just $4.99 for a limited time. Got to try breakfast at A&W. Every time I listen,
I didn't know A&W even had breakfast.
they do here.
No notes.
Absolutely no notes. It was perfect.
Now, every time I listen to one of these old episodes, I'm getting a dynamic ad insert, and it's always the breakfast for A&W.
Always?
My
Always
God.
now.
That's fucking great.
And no, I have not had any A&W breakfast, no bacon and eggers, no coffees for just $4.99.
Well, now you
Yet.
gotta go try it and
Well,
bring
you
back a
gotta go now.
review.
I've had it before in my life, but this ad is just pissing me off. 'Cause I don't want ads on my podcast.
Wake up to sunshine, it's a brand new day. Wake up to breakfast, the A&W way. Eggs are cooking just the way you like. Bacon sizzling, coffee brewed just right. Time is short, you're in demand. Got a bacon and egger in your hand. Wake up to sunshine, it's a brand new day. Wake up to breakfast, the A&W way.
Wake up to a real breakfast at A&W.
For the last 5 minutes, I've been staring at this quote that I have from Geoff, and I can't
Okay.
figure out what it was for. I can't figure out what it's in reference to, and its context, and I've been trying to figure it out this whole time.
I'd love
Geoff
to
says,
help.
I can't go down that road. I can't talk about snakes and dicks. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but it's a quote from Geoff Ramsey from the end of episode 17.
I cannot remember.
There's a lot before you get to that, though. We can get to that. That's a part of Andrew's shitting adventures.
where he breaks.
Oh,
his
yeah,
foot?
okay. Now I remember what it's for.
No.
Thank you, Dennis.
Still in reference, though, to the pencil trial or lack thereof, Geoff does say that a mistrial was declared. And from what I know of trials and mistrials, in the event of a mistrial, you can seek reprosecution if you present new, different evidence or avoid the mistakes that led to the original mistrial.
As far as I know, that's yeah.
I believe so. Or
I believe that's
I'd
how it works.
assume that's how it works.
I could be wrong, though. I didn't go to law school.
Oh, neither did I. But I watch a lot of Law and Order.
I watch a lot of Law and Order. I watch a lot of crime shows in general, so yeah.
But I mean, I watch hospital shows, but I'm not going to go perform open heart surgery.
In a pinch, you might.
You might have to, KP. Who knows?
The spirit of Noah Wiley enter my body as I help this man.
Is there a doctor on this plane? No, but I've watched a lot of General Hospital. Does that help? Way to show your age, David. Bring up fucking General Hospital. God damn.
It's still going.
I know it is, but fuck's sake.
You could have brought up any number of shows, including things like
I could have
Grey's
brought up any
Anatomy.
medical show that is currently on television. I could have said Grey's Anatomy, for God's sakes.
The spirit of Gregory
No,
House.
I had to bring
help
up
me cure this man.
General Hospital. God. That's how you know I watched way too many soap operas on television with my mom growing up, is General Hospital is my pull for that.
I think my mom, like, off and on watched General Hospital.
Here's the fucked up part, KP. My mom never watched General Hospital.
I don't think she watched it
She
through. I
watched-
think
She watched Days of Our Lives and I
Yeah.
think The Young and the Restless, but she didn't even watch The Young and the Restless. She was on Days of Our Lives mostly.
I think the only way my mom watched General Hospital, it just happened to be on in the break room at work when she was like eating lunch.
Yeah.
No, General Hospital wasn't her thing. She watched ER and then multiple times gone back and rewatched all of ER.
ER is a good
Yeah.
one. ER, I remember.
ER
I
was
remember
awesome.
ER being
To hell
on
with
television.
General Hospital and eat your heart out, Rick Springfield.
I have received intel about my house comment. This
Okay.
beard to break house, and all it does is somehow give the guy lupus. But it's never lupus.
Except that one time when it was.
That one time when it was
Yeah.
lupus.
Yeah, it somehow was that one time.
Now, in theory, it would have been really funny if Selena Gomez were a guest star on House and didn't have lupus in the show.
Patrick Stewart was Patrick Stump was a guest on House in I think like season 7. I think he played like some like one-off like either nurse or doctor in an episode.
Okay.
Trying to remember who Patrick Stump is.
He's one of the guys from Fall Out Boy,
Fall
I
Out
think.
Boy,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh
I think
yeah,
he's,
yeah.
lead
I
singer.
do know who he is. Holy shit, he's 41. That's insane.
I was gonna say Patrick Stewart. There's no way he was on that show.
Jean-Luc
Yes.
Picard had lupus. It's okay.
He may have.
It was a very dignified version of lupus.
Very dignified.
Computer, give me lupus.
Computer, give me lupus. God damn
And
it.
We've got a lot of candidates for episode titles here.
You're welcome.
I think
Thank you.
Computer, give me lupus has my vote.
Yeah.
That is so far off track from everything that is being talked about this episode.
But it makes so much sense.
But it does. It makes so much sense.
Just paying homage to the source material.
But
And
Eric had set,
note
had set a new
saved. All
court
right.
date.
And they compare poor Andrew Panton to the likes of both Justin Trudeau and Rob Ford. And so those are two very different characters in Canadian political history.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of them gets a bad rap that I feel is mostly undeserved, although he's now banging Katy Perry, and he didn't quite live up to expectation when people voted him in. And then Rob Ford was basically an asshole and an embarrassment and did a lot of drugs.
I gotta be honest.
And then died of cancer.
I don't know anything about Rob Ford. I didn't even knew who he was when he was mentioned. I knew the Justin Trudeau part, and that's why I laughed again this time listening to the episode. I probably laughed the same the first time. But now I know a little bit more about Justin Trudeau. Still not much. Barely really anything. But I know a little bit more, and so it's a little bit funnier to me this time. But I try and keep myself out of politics the best that I can, because it's honestly just too much, too overwhelming.
Well, to Andrew Panton's credit, he does follow that up with the quote, "I don't think I've ever smoked crack."
I mean, I don't know,
That's a
Andrew.
quote from Andrew
You
Panton.
like to look at ladies in the alley pissing behind your window. So I don't know about that.
There's no crack involved in that.
There could be.
You never know. You never know.
You don't know what angle he's looking at it from.
Yeah.
You don't need to smoke crack to have a piss fetish.
What a fucking sentence.
I don't know what's wrong with me tonight.
I don't know what's wrong
Okay.
with me at all.
Okay,
don't just mean
I have a new
tonight.
vote for. I have a new vote for episode title.
Okay.
You don't need to smoke crack to have a piss fetish.
Jesus Christ.
And noted.
What a fucking wild sentence.
My God.
Oh no. Oh no. My notes app, as I'm writing this down, has done the worst autocorrect possible.
Oh
Of-
no.
Let's hear
You
it.
don't need to smoke crack to have a kid's fetish.
Oh no!
Jesus, no!
Ah! Oh, autocorrect. Why have you done this?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Thankfully, I believe it just means my phone believes the word kids is more acceptable than the words piss and does not have any context for it.
Yikes.
So we go from that to Geoff somehow imagining and believing for years and years that chickens shit through their skin,
Oh yeah.
which might be one of the weirdest things I've ever heard come out of Geoff's mouth.
It's definitely one of the weirder ones for sure. I've heard Jeff Ramsey say some pretty weird shit over the 20 some odd years that I've been listening to that man make content.
But I'd say that bar isn't all too high.
Bar isn't very high though either.
And then an update on that, apparently Emily still doesn't poop, according to Geoff.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Making them regular Staples visits.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Emily doesn't poop at home. She poops over at Staples.
And yeah, this all came because Andrew had mentioned that he had had a shitting adventure where the hinges came loose on his toilet seat and he was basically gliding around on the bowl with the seat underneath him trying to maintain proper shitting posture.
I must have been disassociating because I didn't take any notes on that. The only note that I have from that whole conversation is I can't go down that road. I can't talk about snakes and dicks from Geoff. I
Yeah,
must have
because
been
you gotta watch out.
zoned
There
the
might be
fuck
snakes in the toilet.
Snakes in the
It did
toilet.
happen once.
Your dick. I will say that was like the craziest segue ever during the episode because I think they were still finishing up talking about the one-sided trial, and then Andrew was like, "So the toilet was breaking as I was shitting," and that's where the conversation continues.
That's where the conversation took a very strange turn.
And then it made me write down one question to share with the group here. What is the most manliest macho shit that either of you have ever had to take?
Probably I was out in the woods camping when I lived in Montana. We had eaten some chili the night before that we were working on all day. Next morning, I took a massive fucking dump. And I had to walk. I walked quite a ways away from our campsite so that I could dig my shitting hole in the middle of the woods. And crouch over that sucker.
Say, much like Emily, I'm a lady. I don't poop.
I'm a lady. I don't poop, KP says.
Hey, that's okay.
I'm a bitch that shits.
That is 100% okay.
I'm trying to think of it's a Rooster Teeth related reference. There's a character somewhere in some piece of content that when he pisses, he just absorbs his piss back in through his skin. I think it was in a D&D butt. And it was a little like short D&D campaign in space. And it was starring Jeff Willems, Elise Willems, I think Zach Anner was there, and God, I can't remember who their fourth party member was. But it went on for a couple of episodes. It was actually kind of an interesting mini campaign. But that character, the reason I bring it up is because that character who like absorbs the piss back through his skin just kind of made me think that that's what KP does.
My God.
She just absorbs the shit back into her body.
And go days without eating.
I think I'd rather be eating.
Yeah, I like
Same.
food too much.
Same. I'm a big food guy. I love food, even though food doesn't really love me anymore these days. Closer to the end of the episode, Andrew mentions that he beats Gavin's secret game times. He beat one of them on Halo 2. And then one in another game that I don't think he told to Gavin. I don't remember if he actually mentioned the name of the game that he beat for the second time trial.
Wasn't it Halo?
That was the first one that he mentioned. He mentioned a second one, but I don't remember if he mentioned the name of the game that he didn't.
I know that they were doing.
I know he mentioned a second one.
The trials and the Halo.
Right.
Yeah, they went from Trials HD runs to Halo times.
Right, but this was Gavin's secret times. The ones where he would go and put down a best time on a random game that he wouldn't tell Andrew which game it was. But it had to be one of the ones that they had talked about in the show. So it had to be like Trials or Halo or Garfield Kart Racing, or there's been a couple of other ones.
I can't remember what the
whole like basis for this particular like trial bet or whatever was that Gavin would do it secretly and he wouldn't tell Andrew which games they were. Andrew had to find that out for himself, and then once he did find out, he would have like, what was it, 24 hours to beat the times or something, or 12 hours, I don't remember. But this one was for the secret times, not like their regular time trial bets that they do. And Eric sets the new court date, even though Andrew still refuses, and then claims that this next court date will be just for fun. And I have that bit in quotes. And I don't think that I meant to put that bit in quotes, but I put it in quotes, and then I was instantly reminded that Andrew being a little freaking weasel, and the whole reason that I said we need to make an Andrew Weasel Panton character for our Regulation Wrestling was because of this freaking episode. I then immediately am reminded that episode 17 and Andrew being as like hard pressed and gaslighting us that he did not promise that he would eat the pencil. I am reminded that it was a whole bit. And I felt really fucking dumb, you guys.
I don't think you should feel that dumb. You don't deserve to feel dumb.
I felt real dumb because I know what the reason being is because I know who the fuck I'm listening to. But I also have proof from past experience, listening experience, that Andrew is a weasel sometimes, and he tries to get himself out of things that he got himself into in the first place. That's why I think this upset me so much, is because I know who I'm listening to, and I know that they are commitment to the bit 100%, but then I also know Andrew Panton. Andrew Panton is a fucking troll, and that is what he is.
Well, not only
and
is he a troll, but he is an entertainer.
He is a long back troll.
He's a long back troll.
But then at the end of the day, an entertainer.
But like, I shouldn't get as upset. I feel dumb for being as upset as I was because, like, I'm also a freaking troll. But I'm a troll in certain aspects of my life. Like, it's not all the time that I'm a troll. And I know that Andrew's not like that all the time either. But I feel dumb for being as upset as I was in episode 17 and basically screaming at my fucking laptop and like pounding on my little like dinner my little dinner tray that I've got it sitting on. And yeah, I was upset, and then I felt real dumb the very next episode.
Well, before we move on, because I believe that covers everything in episode 17. But before we move on to episode 18, can I share a little bit of follow-up? Because I remember being tasked with some homework.
Yep.
And I wanted to update on that. So
Let's hear that.
Because I was tasked with reaching out to Andrew Panton. And I tried. I found who I believe to be Andrew Panton and sent what I believe to be just a simple hello, but in a way where if it is our Andrew Panton, they'd know. And if it wasn't, then, the ball's in their court. So I found Andrew Panton and asked, quote, "Hi, I'm sure this may be a weird question, but are you Andrew Panton the podcaster or Andrew Panton the vocal coach of Susan Boyle? I was wondering if she was going to put Baby Got Back into her set list for upcoming concerts."
Oh my god.
I figured that would be the kind of way where it's, if you know, you know. And let's put it out there for the record. Andrew Panton does not owe any of us a response. But
that was going to be my next question.
I tried.
Have we gotten a response?
Yeah.
There's been no response, and that's okay.
Kind of surprised. Because if it is our Andrew Panton, I'm surprised he hasn't responded.
Yeah.
I put the odds at 50-50 because he does portray himself, sure, as being out there and everything. But he is someone who wants to keep his personal life personal. And so, kind of like how Eric is. Don't at me. I'm not going to give...
If we at
But you
Eric,
can at Andrew Panton all the time. You can at Andrew Panton all you want.
So I feel like if we at Eric, we'll just end up with a cease and desist.
End up with a cease and desist and blocked on Twitter.
I mean, end up with a cease and desist faster than we actually are going to get one.
Well.
So that is my follow-up there. And my other follow-up is that if it is found that Andrew will be asked and requested and required to eat the pencil according to final judgment, I am willing to do that in his place. We are recording this on Easter Sunday, a day where someone stood up and kind of bit the bullet for all of humanity, at least in what it signifies. And I am willing to eat, in some form or another, a pencil if Andrew is found guilty. And I will take that punishment. I will be the
He's already been found guilty. And he still hasn't eaten the pencil.
But we haven't covered it yet.
Okay, all right.
That is for our audience, the jury of peers, to decide. Man. We can put up a poll.
Is there a way that we can put up the... Because I remember you sent us a screenshot of that message to Andrew. And is there any way that we can put up that and the picture of the butter tarts on our episodes this week?
Yeah.
We can figure something out.
Okay.
It's better than putting up a picture of piss fetish.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that too.
Or a picture of Captain Picard asking a computer to give him lupus.
David, KP, Dennis, and me, Steve, talked for way too long. We don't have an outro to share with you, so we wrote down a silly song. Listen next week for a brand new episode of our silly show.